All right, let's talk about small talk. For so many of us, it just feels like this chore. It's that necessary evil. You have to deal with at parties, networking events, heck, even in an elevator. But what if we've been looking at it all wrong? What if small talk isn't a test you have to pass, but a tool you can actually use? We're going to break down how you can turn this thing you dread into a legit skill for making real connections.
And hey, let's be real. If you hate it, you are definitely not alone. It's like communications expert Jefferson Fisher says, the one thing that unites almost everyone on the planet is this shared hatred of small talk. That awkward silence? The desperate search for something, anything to talk about. Yeah, we've all been there. But you know what's great about that? Since we all feel that pain, we all really appreciate it when someone comes along and makes it easy.
So, the single biggest thing you can do starts right here, in your head. It's a mindset shift. Think about it this way. A lot of us treat small talk like a competitive tennis match. They serve you a question, and you feel all this pressure to hit back the perfect, witty, impressive answer. It's stressful. Instead, I want you to start thinking of it like a game of hacky sack. The goal isn't to score points or win. The goal is just to work together to keep the conversation in the air. It's collaborative. Suddenly, the pressure's off, and it can actually be fun. This quote, right here, this is your new mantra. Say it with me. Your goal is to be interested, not interesting. Just let that sink in. Forget about trying to be the most clever, most fascinating person in the room. All you have to do is be genuinely curious about the other person. The second you shift your focus from how am I doing to who is this person, all that anxiety just kind of molts away. You stop performing and you start connecting.
Okay, so you've got the hacky sack mindset. You're ready to be interested. But how do you actually start? Let's get into some super practical tools for kicking off a conversation that actually goes somewhere.
So, here's the problem with our default questions like, how are you, or how's work? They're automatic, and they almost always lead to those one-word dead-end answers. Fine, good, and that's it. Conversation over. The trick is to swap those out for action-oriented questions. So instead of, how's work, try asking, what's something you're excited about at work this week? See the difference? These kinds of questions invite a story, not just the status report.
And here's a really simple, almost grammatical hack that makes a world of difference. Start your questions with words like what, how, or when. These are what we call open-ended questions. They can't be answered with a simple yes or no. Just think about it. Did you have a good weekend? The answer is yes or no. But what did you get up to this weekend? Bam! That question opens a door for them to tell you a real story.
Now, another fantastic way to open a conversation is to just notice something. Make an observation about the room you're in, the event you're at. Matt Abrahams tells this great story about starting a conversation just by saying, wow, there are more people wearing blue shirts in this room than I think I've ever seen in my life. It's quirky, it's specific, and it immediately gets you past all those boring standard greetings. All right, so you've started the conversation. The hacky sack is in the air. Now, how do you keep it there? Let's load you up with a few killer tools for your conversation toolkit.
I want you to commit these 2 words to memory. Tell me more. This is your new conversational superpower. It's the thing you say when you have absolutely no idea what to say next.
Tell me more is it's genius. It's so simple, but it does 2 crucial things at once. First, it's the ultimate way to show you're actually listening and that you're genuinely interested. And second, it buys you time. While they're talking more, you get a second to actually listen and think of what you want to say next. It is an absolute lifeline.
Now, if you want something a bit more structured, try this 4-step formula from Jefferson Fisher. It's so good. Step 1, pick literally any topic, the weather, coffee, anything. Step 2, offer a choice, like a little poll. Are you more of a summer person or a winter person? Step 3, you share your answer really quick and a little reason why. And then, step 4, you toss it right back to them with, what about you? This little formula can turn the most boring topic into a real moment of connection.
Okay, so what about when it's your turn to talk? We've all had that moment where we start talking and then we're just rambling. This little structure is your solution. It's called what, so what, now what. First, you say the what. That's your main idea. Then the so what. That's why it actually matters. And finally, the now what. What the next step is. It's just a simple recipe to help you make your point clearly and then stop talking.
One of the most powerful tools for connection isn't about talking at all. It's about listening. And paraphrasing is how you show it. This isn't just repeating what they said like a parrot. No. It's about boiling it down and saying something like, okay, so what I'm hearing is, this does 2 amazing things.
It makes the other person feel truly heard, and it makes sure you actually understood them. It forces you to listen, instead of just waiting for your turn to speak. All right, we've covered how to start and how to keep it going. But what about the part that's almost as scary as starting? Ending the conversation. How do you get out of there without it being super awkward? Let's talk about the graceful exit.
So what do most of us do? We use the biological escape hatch, right? Well, I'm gonna go grab a drink, or I just have to find the restroom. And look, we've all done it, but it can feel really abrupt. It's like you're literally running away from them, and it can just kind of kill the great connection you just built. There's a much better way.
So instead of just vanishing, try what's called the white flag approach. Think of it like in a car race. When they wave the white flag to signal the final lap, you do the same thing. You say, I have to go in just a moment, but before I do, and then you ask one last great question. This is key. It shows you're still engaged, and it lets you end the conversation together on a high note instead of just disappearing.
And that's really the whole point. You want to leave while the energy is still good. It is so much better to end the conversation and leave them wishing they could talk to you more than to let it drag on until you both run out of things to say and it just fizzles out. Ending on a high note leaves a fantastic lasting impression. So as we wrap all this up, I want you to remember this one thing. This isn't about being perfect. You're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna say awkward things, and that is totally okay. The goal of all this isn't to put on a flawless performance. It's just about connection. It's about being human.
Armed with this new mindset and these super practical tools, small talk isn't a test you need to be afraid of anymore. It's an opportunity. So the only question left is, what connection are you gonna go out and make today?